Raina Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success. Hey, Dream Drivers. Welcome to episode 47 of the Dreams and Drive No Parking Podcast. I want to say thank you so much for listening to Dreams and Drive, just because you could be listening to any other podcast out there, but you're taking your time out of your day to listen to Dreams and Drive. So for that, I am forever thankful. Today, our guest is Mia Hall, who's a speaker, producer, and career strategist that helps individuals break out of their comfort zones and into their dream careers. She's a producer at NBCBLK.com, a writer for outlets such as Black Enterprise, Slam Magazine, ESPNW, and her personal blog, Mia's Full Court Press. She has a degree in sports management from Hampton University and a master's in education from Harvard University. And on today's episode, Mia and I discuss her personal journey to her dream career, including the time that she spoke her way into an opportunity with the WNBA. Mia also discusses the strategies that she thinks dream drivers looking to navigate their career and build a fulfilling life need to know. We talk about steps to take when seeking your dream job, the biggest mistake that many job seekers make, the importance of sacrifice, and last but not least, we also talk about the current challenges that Mia is facing in her own career. And I think this is a good episode because sometimes being a dream driver doesn't always mean that you want to start your own company, right? There's a lot of you guys listening in that may just want to move up the ranks or may want to have a dream job at a company that's already established. Whatever it is, I think that the whole idea of dream driving doesn't always have to mean that you want to have your own company. So for you guys listening in who may not be entrepreneurial in that regards, I still want you guys to get the message that, you know, being a creative, having the entrepreneurial spirit can also apply to when you're looking for a job. So before we get into the episode, I just want to send a reminder that if you're listening into us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, wherever, make sure you are subscribed to the Dreams and Drive channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified when we have new episodes going up, and you'll just have instant access to us. So that would really, really mean a lot if you subscribed. And also leave a review. Share this episode with a friend. Let people know that you enjoy listening to Dreams and Drive so that we can continue to build the community. For today's show notes, all you have to do is visit dreamsanddrive.com and click on episode 47. And if you want to join our Dreams and Drive community for weekly access to exclusive content and our weekly No Parking newsletter, visit www.dreamsanddrive.com/join. Last but not least, don't forget to follow us on social at Dreams and Drive across the board. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're there. I love listening and I love reading, I should say, all the feedback we get each week. So make sure to hit us up and follow us on those social channels. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I'll speak to you again at the outro. Hi, Mia. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Dreams and Drive. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Cool. I'm excited to chat with you, too.
So, Mia, tell me this. One of the things that I love to ask all our guests as the first question and kind of as a get to know you is, what inspired you as a child? So if I had to say, who was Mia the 8-year-old? Who was Mia the 10-year-old? How would you describe yourself?
Mia the 8 or 10-year-old was a very talkative child, and she was a dancer, and she was gifted, but just really active and kind of didn't know how to use her gifts. So what inspired me as a child, I feel like was dance, was really, my outside of the school activities that I feel like helped me probably more in the classroom. But yeah, everything was about dance. Dance was life back then. The arts, and being in my dance troupe and going to our different shows and things like that. That was what I was all about.
What kind of dance did you do? Because I dance too, so that's one thing we have in common.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember seeing your Instagram videos and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'm that good. But no, but I did like modern ballet, African dance when I was growing up.
Yeah, when I was younger, I always wished my mom put me like professional dance classes, but I used to do a lot of dance classes through school. So like, in elementary school, I did the dance program, and in middle school, I did the dance program. In high school, I did the dance program. And in college, I was in a dance company. So like you, I definitely had a strong arts background. But you said something interesting. You said that you were, a girl who didn't really know how to use her gifts. What did you mean by that?
I think that I was, talented in dance and talented in talking. Well, not talented in talking, but I used to always kind of get chastised for talking a lot. And I didn't really know that, maybe I can be a poet, or, I could use that to like sing, or, something like that. So I feel like in that way, I didn't really know how to use my gift of gab. So I guess I just expressed myself through dance,
Mm-hmm. So you ended up going to Hampton University. What made you want to major in sports management?
Yeah, so I would definitely say that it was people that I met in high school when I was a basketball player, and working in the not working, but I was a part of a program called Power Play NYC, and Power Play was a program that educates and empowers girls through sports. So they brought different athletes that were part of the YMCA's basketball teams to corporate offices that were related to sports, like Sports Illustrated, Madison Square Garden, WFAN radio, and things like that. And they introduced us to women that worked in sports. So that's where I really got the knack for the business of sports industry. That was the first time I saw women of color, or people that looked like me in business suits and, running corporations. Like, I was like, oh, wow. First of all, I didn't know the profession existed. And then, I didn't see professional women that looked like me on television. I saw them as entertainers and things like that. So really, my inspiration for majoring in sport management was the women that, after I danced, I played basketball. So in middle school. And so as an athlete, I was interested in sports. Then I saw women working in sports. So that's what really inspired me to want to pursue that as a career and major in sport management.
And when you were in college, did you envision yourself going into, I mean, you just said it, but so you envision yourself having like a long-standing career in sports management? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, when I was first got to Hampton, I was trying out for the team, and not that I really in high school I saw myself as a WNBA player, and I met those women, and I thought that they were great too, and I knew that if it didn't work out, that's what I would do. But it was confirmed when I tried out for the team, and everybody was getting their callbacks, but I definitely didn't. So I think it was confirmed then, and that's when I really was like, okay, I'm going to do this as a profession.
So wait, you were in the WNBA? Or you?
No, I wanted to. I was.
Okay.
I know. Let me back up and clarify. So basically, after I grew up dancing from 3 to 12, and then my middle school didn't have a dance program, and then I started playing basketball in middle school. So as an athlete, that's when Power Play NYC, that organization, they targeted athletes, women athletes, to introduce them to the business side of sports. And so that's how I got passionate about it. But when I was in college, I still tried out for the team, didn't make the team. And that's when, I was like, well, yeah, maybe the business of sports is really going to have to be my thing since playing is not.
So what were your first few years out of college like then?
So my first few years out of college, after I went to Hampton, I went to grad school. But after that, it was very hard to find a job in sports. Sports is a very competitive industry, I will say, and it's not easy to find a job there. So I had a lot of odd jobs, honestly. After school, I was on that hustle. I was a substitute teacher. I was an intern for like this film, Brooklyn to Manhattan. What else was I doing? Oh, I was working part-time as a coach, as a gym teacher for Power Play NYC. So I had a lot of odd jobs in that first year. Mm-hmm. Then, doing a fundraiser for Power Play NYC, I spoke about, my experience there, and, was really passionate about that. And I heard, somebody say, one of my mentors say that whenever she spoke, or her last 3 positions she got after she was at a speaking engagement. So I was like, let me put all my energy, into this speech that I knew that, a lot of people were going to be in the room. It was a fundraiser. So we were honoring the president of the WNBA. And after I said my speech, my current boss at the time, she said to the crowd, "Thank you, Mia." And then she was like, "We're so sad that we could only hire her part-time or whatever. But we love her." Then when the president of the WNBA was getting her award, she was like, "Anybody that can speak like that about their organization should work for me. So Mia, I want you on my team." And that's how I got my first job in sports.
So what was that whole experience like for you? Did it turn out to be beneficial? Did it turn out to be what you thought it would be?
Yeah, honestly, because, that was, like I said, a year after I had graduated. So I definitely, was like, happy that it happened. And then when I got to the WNBA, it was really like my dreams being fulfilled. Like I knew I wanted to play in the WNBA in the past, and then to be able to work there in the president's office, was like a literally dream come true.
So from there, you had different jobs. You worked at Urban World. You were working as a reporter for the basketball channel. You even were the community manager at the Barclays Center. Out of those, out of the experiences you had post-college, which one was your favorite and really helped you grow professionally?
I would say my favorite, all of them offered like such a different experience, but really my formative years, I think, were at the High School of Sports Management. And because, there I was able to connect with students, and my master's in education, and my undergrad is in sport management. So the High School of Sport Management really tied in 2 of my passions almost perfectly. We really introduced it was mostly young Black men, but also, young women of color to the industry where so many people were on the court of color, but not many people were off the court of color. So to be able to educate, students, that probably was my favorite, to be able to bring in professionals, that also were of color, that looked like them. I knew that inspired me when I was a teenager. So being able to do it, for 400 students year after year, I think that was just an awesome experience. And also that was the first time that I really, got back into reporting, and I was able to grow their website, grow their blog, and really help the students to build their blog. And that's really where I started my media experience. And I went to my first All-Star Weekend reporting for the school. So yeah, I would definitely say that's where, that's where it kind of all started, where much of my skills that I have now came from.
It's so funny you said that's where you were able to get, and start your media career, because how you were saying when you were younger, you had that voice, but you didn't know what to do with it. So it's good to see that you finally found the place where that could really be used and you could really grow there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that was definitely, I'm thankful that, I finally found, a place to be able to use that gift.
So what made you want to launch and really get into consulting in the career transition field?
Honestly, it was my own experiences with being able to get what I felt like was jobs and opportunities in my career field of choice. So many people, or I've met a lot of people throughout the years that have always asked me advice on, well, how did you, start working with the Nets, or how did you start, working with the WNBA or the New York Knicks, and, always like get LinkedIn messages, and, just from time to time people reach out, or people will refer me to other people like, oh, you should speak to me about this. You should speak to me about this. And I was like, you know what, I might as well, like do this professionally, as a coach, and really start to, formulate a program that will help people to, and initially it was break into the sports industry, but I feel like the formula can apply to a lot of different careers. So that's what I use with my clients now.
Okay, so let's maybe we can have a little mini session with Mia where you tell our dream drivers some of this plan and how they can really use these steps in your formula to find their dream job. So what's the first thing that you would tell someone if they were coming to you and they wanted your help?
Honestly, the first thing I like to find out, or I like for people to do, is give themselves a personal assessment of where they are in their search. So usually people come to me, after they've, kind of been on the search for a while, or if they're like just getting started. I like to find out, how much effort they themselves have put into, going after their dream career. So I think a self-assessment would be first, like, just on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard have you been working on your dream? So I would want people to, to give themselves that assessment. And then, on a scale of 1 to 10, how far do they think they've come? Because then, by the end of, or when you've used my tips, or when you use this formula, or when you use, some of the suggestions I've given you, I want you to be able to take, your 6, as far as the success that you've been seeing, to a 10, to an 11. So I definitely love the self-assessment first. So I would say assess yourself.
Okay. And do you think that, I think the whole idea of really being honest with yourself throughout this journey is really important. And have you seen with your clients, the people that were really honest during this stage might have fared better at the end?
Yes. The more honest you are with yourself, the better you can approach the steps, the more, you can put into it. In the areas where you haven't been putting energy, right? If you haven't been calling people, for informational interviews, if you haven't been attending conferences, then you'll attend a lot more.
No, I agree with you on that one. Okay, so you said give yourself a personal assessment. That's number 1. Then what's next?
What's next is, I would say, be very specific about the companies you want to work for or with. So I'm not a proponent of, you have to go and get a job. I'm definitely, one for, if you want to consult, then, hey, be a consultant and have your own business. I'm definitely a proponent of entrepreneurship. So I would say, I tell people to, list their favorite, brands that they would like to work with, because then you can work backwards from there. So, I tell people to work with to list their, maybe it's their top 5. For some people, it might only be 3, be very specific, but I would say to be specific about the brands that you want to get in contact with.
Okay.
Or that you want to work with or for.
So would this mean like you should do research, or you just have to make a list of the brands that you ideally want to work for?
Yeah, I want them to get specific about the brands first, or at least let me know, okay, boom, what, brands do you want to work with first? That would be my next step. Like, what brands, my next step would be, what brands do you want to, work with the most? And then, I don't want to skip you, but yeah.
Okay, no, let's go. No, go. Just
and I'm giving like half of it, because then the rest they just gotta call me. but yeah, they pick the brands, and then either in those brands or in general, because it might not be a brand if they don't know exactly what brand they want to do, but they know what skill set they want to have, or they know what position that they would like to do, or talent that they would like to use. I want them to pick a person that they, want to mirror their career, or they want to do, similar tasks. They want their typical day to look like this person's typical day. So, I want them to pick those out too.
Okay. And is this something that they would work with you doing, or you recommend that they really come to you with this already done?
I work with them a little bit, but I try to, tell them to give me, an idea of it first. I want them to have that, I ask them to do that, for themselves before they come to me, and then we can work out a strategy. Well, after that, they're going to have to call me. I don't want to get the whole thing going. They got to buy the book.
Okay.
Sign up for the class.
This is like a preliminary questionnaire that they have to do, and then they call you, and they work with you, and you help them figure out, all right, this is how we're going to execute upon this.
Yeah, and create a strategy, set some goals on how to get to where they want to be.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you've seen a lot of people who are looking to find their dream career often make during this journey?
I would say the biggest mistake is thinking that someone won't respond to you before you even reach out to them. I think that networking and informational interviews are very big in finding your dream career. Every problem that you need to solve is going to be through a person. So I think that, talking to people is one of the biggest things that you have to do in this journey. And a lot of people will be afraid to, send somebody an in-mail on LinkedIn, or, do something because they're like, oh, they're too big, or, oh, I don't want to ask this person for that. When you're going to be in the same position, if you asked, or that you would be if you didn't ask, so, or you can be in a better position if they actually say, yes, I'll speak to you. So I think that, just letting fear take over them with anything that they want to do is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make.
I love that you said that, because I think that's just a general theme, no matter whether you're looking for the dream job, whether you're trying to build your dream business, that's just something that we as dream drivers often let overtake us, right? Was there ever a time in your own personal career journey that letting fear overtake you or overcome you resulted in you missing out on any opportunities?
Yeah, I think that I'm trying to think of a good one, because I made a lot of mistakes, and have had a lot of fear, and thankfully, I don't let that stop me. But I think there's definitely been a lot of opportunities. But one that I think was probably big, but of course works out in the end. But so when I was at the NBA. I was like under a contract, and I was able to stay there, for an extended period of time. And then they invited me back to get on another contract. But I turned it down because it wasn't permanent. It wasn't, offering, benefits and things like that. So I was looking at, like the health benefits and, the 401k, I guess, whatever, first, instead of just saying, okay, boom, I'm young. Like, this was like right out of, a year, like I said, a year after college. So, I was looking at that more than I was looking at the opportunity. And so I turned them down. So I think that, me being afraid to, just take something without benefits, I missed the opportunity to work, at the NBA for an extended period of time. But that is when I chose to work at the high school sports management. And, that's where I think my formative years were. So it worked out in the end, but I definitely think that, that was a time where I did fear.
That's interesting. But like you said, you kind of did. It kind of led you to another institution that you still were able to learn from too. And also, it's kind of scary because I remember graduating from college. It's like everyone tells you need that stable job, right? You need to be thinking about your long term from the jump. So I definitely can understand how you must have been feeling and how you really just wanted that stability and thought that it would be the best. But looking back, maybe it might have been okay to be there for a little bit longer.
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
So thinking about, the whole dream career, the idea of having a dream career, do you really think that a dream career can really be achieved, or do you tell your students or your clients, I should say, that they should really like sacrifice parts of their dream? Is it really possible to have a dream career is what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you define as dream career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what I try to help people to find is things that they, of course, where they're in their flow, or, where they can do what they were doing. I mean, I know it's pretty cliche now, but really it is truth that, when you're doing something that you would have been doing if they weren't paying you, right? So, when I was at Barclays Center, helping kids and speaking to kids and creating relationships between the community and the brand, I would have done that without getting paid for it,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that was my dream career. So I do think that it can be reality in my estimation. I do think that absolutely, in order to get a career that is your dream, or a career where you would be doing it for free, you absolutely have to sacrifice. I think that that's a huge part. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it does take a lot of sacrifice to be able to do, a career like that.
What kind of sacrifices have you made in your own journey?
Some sacrifices that I'm still paying for now. No, no, but even recently, I mean, quite transparently, I'm still living with my mom right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sacrificed, being able to move out because I wanted to move further into media, right? So I wasn't working full-time in media. I was more in community with my role at Barclays Center. And, in transitioning, I knew that I didn't want to take another role, even though it would be, paying more. Even though I would kind of have to start at a lower pay grade, because though I was in media, I was freelancing. So to be in full-time media, to get a position in full-time media, I had to be, I had to come down to pay grade. So that was a big sacrifice to be able to make half of what I was making before. But, I'm doing my dream. I really thought that it was important to be able to contribute to the narrative, to reconstructing the Black narrative. And that's what I'm doing now at NBC BLK. So I think that, that's definitely one thing that's a sacrifice. Plenty of nights when I had to work on my own brand rather than going to somebody's birthday dinner, or, going out when, no, I have to stay in and do these social media posts, or, plan for my next, speaking engagement. Like, those are a lot of sacrifices that, I have to take, but, in the end, I think that it's worth it.
You know what? I didn't know it was NBC BLK. I always just said NBC Black. When you see when you see it.
Yeah. Some people still call it Black. It's fine. It's pretty much the same thing, but yeah.
How did you get that position?
Well, honestly, that was through a relationship as well. I reached out to a few friends and told them that I was looking to do more in media, and specifically, being able to tell the stories of people of color in my own voice. And I had a friend that was at NBC, and she, said that this the assistant producer position was open, and she made an introduction, and it took a couple months, but a couple months later, that's how I got in this position.
What's your day-to-day like at NBC BLK?
Mostly helping to edit stories that our freelancers. We have a lot of freelancers that, will submit stories from day to day. So I help to edit them and put them on our website, as well as manage the social media, making sure all of our social media channels are updated at NBC BLK everywhere. And sometimes I'll attend and cover events. Like yesterday, Inside the NBA had a media day. So, we had lunch with Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith, and they were talking about the upcoming NBA season. So I'll cover events, and I'll probably do a story on that tomorrow. That'll be my task when I go back to work. But yeah, so it's sometimes it's writing stories, and that's pretty much my responsibilities.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things, you also have a freelance media career where you have your own platform and you work at a corporate media company. What are the biggest differences for you for working in those two environments?
I would say now, since honestly, it's been 6 months me working at a, full-time media as opposed to freelancing. It's very different being in nonstop news. Especially in the environment that I'm in, because news happens constantly. It's not like it's not like we're like at Black Enterprise, I could kind of like come up with a topic and, it can be covered at any time. But, at NBC, it's like we're constantly getting in stories and, have to stay on top of the current news. So it's very much faster paced. I can't go at my own pace. I'm going at, the pace of news as it happens. So, yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing.
Okay, yeah, I just always think it's interesting because a lot of people sometimes they want that, that full-time media job at a big company, but they don't really realize that it's a different pace, it's a different cycle depending upon what department you're in. So it's just good to hear you talk about how you definitely see the difference between doing freelance versus actually working full-time at a company.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a different level of expectation too, like you need to meet your deadlines, and it's like, you're right there with with the rest of your office or your editor right there with you. So yeah, it's a different level of pressure too.
Do you still have time for your freelance media career?
Not as much. Not as much. Haven't been doing many stories for my other outlets because I'm doing so much with NBC BLK. But yeah, so and plus I'm still doing the speaking. So yeah, no, not as much freelance media anymore.
So, Mia, you talked a lot about your own career journey and how you think that our dream drivers can really set themselves up so that they can find their dream career as well. What are some of your favorite tools that you would recommend to our audience to really invest in or to explore that can really help them throughout this process?
I would say, and this is not just, me being selfish, I would say invest in professional help. Like whether it doesn't even have to be a coach. It can be, an online program, that they might have to, I don't know, pay, even if it's paying a premium for LinkedIn or something like that. Or, seeing if their favorite, like person that is, doing something, investing in their book, that they might have written, but whatever they do, I think that it's going to take a level of investment in order to, to achieve their dreams. So I would say invest in something, make a financial investment in, pursuing your dreams. And honestly, budget it out. Give yourself a budget of what you're willing to spend for it. But I would say to either hire a coach or, just invest something financially in it. Specific tools. I do like LinkedIn. I do like different books and different authors. Practically Speaking, Success is Not an Accident is a great book. And I still follow some of the tips in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I still think that podcasts like Malik Teal's podcast, like the Dreams and Drive podcast. No, I think absolutely no, but I think that listening to career podcasts help. My Leaks podcast, has helped me. She has a couple of great ones on.
She's just a no BS
careers.
person. Like, she just gives it to you straight. Like, if you want this, you got to do this. And don't complain if it doesn't happen.
Right. Absolutely. So, yeah, no, I would definitely say that. Another career book I liked Never Eat Alone, and I like Audible. I mean, honestly, as a tool, because why not, when you're walking down the street or when you're doing your dishes, be able to, build up your, build up your knowledge and wisdom, and that's going to help you in your career. So I think Audible, is a great tool. And also The Success Principles is another great book. But yeah, I mean, those would be my top tools. There's an app called Cloze, Cloze. That's great for people that want to stay in touch with people. It like has reminders of when you should follow up with people. It tells you like, oh, 3 weeks ago you were in touch with Brandon, but you haven't spoken to him since. Maybe you should follow up. Like, Cloze is a good app for that. What else?
You know which one I really love a lot?
Good.
I love Streak app. Have you ever used that? It's a plugin on Gmail, and basically it allows you to schedule emails. So you know how you might be up at 1:00 in the morning, but you might not want to send the email at that time. It allows you to send emails that way. And it also has this really good feature called snippets, where you can create basic email templates. And I do this a lot when I'm reaching out to people, or even for Dreams and Drive stuff. I'll have a template, like, when someone's episode goes live, I just type a hashtag into my email, and then it will auto-populate the template for me so that I'm not like going through my emails, trying to copy and paste stuff. So that's one of my favorite networking apps. You can definitely apply it to your job search as well.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, I haven't heard of that app, but I think that sounds good.
So what's something that's really challenging you right now, and how are you working to overcome that?
Good question. Let's see. Let me think about it. So something that's really challenging me right now, I really actually would like to wake up earlier. How I'm overcoming that is accountability. I have an accountability group that we speak once a week. And, I told them that, look, this is what I want to do. I need to not get up any later than 6. I mean, I used to be like way better with getting up, being a morning person and, just getting up earlier. So, I definitely would like to be able to get up, work out. And one of the ways that I'm trying to overcome it is, through my accountability group, having them hold me accountable. What else? Yeah, I would say that's probably a big challenge for me right now, having that discipline.
And throughout this whole journey, from graduating from college and having these different jobs and these different stepping stones in your career, what's something that you think you've really learned about yourself as a person? Because a lot of times we often forget just how important self-development is. So what's just something that you've learned about your ability to achieve, or your ability to just be confident in yourself throughout this whole process?
Fear is in it. And also I've learned that I don't have to do too much. Like, I think that on this journey, I've learned that less is more a lot, and that you don't have to be like everywhere. A lot of times, like, I don't know if it's a type A thing. I don't know if it's, just a New Yorker personality thing where we feel like we have to be at every single place and, please every single person. Maybe that's it too, people pleasing. But, I think I've learned over the years that, some things are just, I can have it all, but I can't have it all at once. That's probably one of the biggest things that I learned, like that I don't have to, go out every day, that I do need a day, for self-care. I do need a me day. I do need me time. I do need, a quiet moment. in order to function. Because I feel like weeks or times where, I do have that time to myself to, just do whatever, to take a hot bath, like, to get that refreshing time, that I feel more peace about things.
Okay, so let's go into our lightning round. So this part of our interview, I'm going to give you a prompt, and I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the first word is park.
Drive.
Reverse.
Set.
Neutral.
Chill.
Drive.
Go.
All right, and if you want to be a dream driver, Mia, you have to have the keys to success. So what are 3 things that you think every dream driver definitely needs in their toolkit before they hit the road?
Ooh, 3 things. I kind of want to go like mental and say confidence, because I feel like without confidence, everything else, without confidence in yourself, confidence in your own dreams, it'll be really hard to do anything else. So I would definitely say confidence is number 1. Number 2, I would say is an accountability partner. I'm very big on that. So I feel like in order to accomplish your dreams, you want to have somebody that you can tell about it and, that you'll see or you have to speak to at some point in a week, so that they can follow up with you and, so that it won't just be in your head. Somebody else will know what you said you were going to do and hold you accountable to that. So I think number 2 would be an accountability partner. And number 3, so you need confidence, an accountability partner, and practice. You have to build your reps in order to accomplish your dream. Somebody, you can want a dream, you can have confidence, you can have an accountability partner, but unless you're doing something practical in order to achieve that dream, unless you're taking, your own steps, unless you're, building your own brand, unless you're putting in the hours, putting in time, reading, studying, doing whatever you have to do, to get you closer to that dream. Because if somebody, if a genie in the bottle, came to you and said, oh, I'll give you your dream if you tell me, how hard you've been working on it yourself, and you can't say anything, then it's not going to happen, even though genie in a bottle is not going to come. But I'm just saying, you have to build your reps. So I would say you need practice, to practice in order to build your dreams.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mia, for joining us today. Can you tell our dream drivers where they can find you online?
Sure. They can find me at miahall19.com. That's the website where all my social media is. But you can also find me at Mia_Hall19 on Twitter and Instagram. And on Facebook, it's Mia's Full Court Press.
So that's a wrap for episode 47 with Mia Hall. Thank you so much for listening in, and I hope that you enjoyed hearing Mia share her dream driving story and her personal keys to success. So let me know what you think of today's episode. If you have any comments, feedback, or just want to share love, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Dreams and Drive. And just leave a comment, send us a message. I love reading everyone's messages and feedback, and it's always very helpful to me to know what's working and what's not working. If you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you're listening in. Make sure to subscribe. And one more thing you could also do is share this episode with a friend. Tag Dreams and Drive on someone's profile and be like, hey, go read this or go check this out. This will really, really help us grow the Dreams and Drive community. And I have so much planned for 2017. So I just am hoping that with your help, we can just help spread awareness about this podcast and all the awesome guests that we feature. For today's show notes, visit dreamsanddrive.com and click on episode 47. And last but not least, I just want to say I appreciate you all. I could not have gotten to episode 47 without all you dedicated listeners out there. So just know that you are helping me put my own dreams in drive by continuing to show up each week and listen to today's episode and all the other ones that we have. So thank you once again. Keep dreaming, keep driving. We're going to chat again in episode 48, and that guest will be Levante. And Levante is an old friend of mine. Her story is just so incredible. You guys will really enjoy hearing her road to success. So I'm excited for that one. I don't want to give away too much, so just make sure that you're tuned in for that one, and we shall chat soon. Bye, guys.